Often, it's not an issue over whether or not you're masturbating or having sex, it's simply, are you retaining your semen? Hey guys, I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can magnetize your ideal life. Make sure you grab my free ejaculation control guide. There's a link in the video description below. So, is masturbation bad? Is masturbation harmful when you're practicing semen retention? This is something that a lot of guys reach out to me about and ask. And in this video, I want to share my own thoughts and my own experiences on this issue. So there's often a bit of a difference in the way that men can approach semen retention or no-fap practice. Typically the no-fap approach is no masturbation, obviously no looking at porn. Guys might do 30 days, they might do 90 days, they might do it as an ongoing process, but usually once they get into a relationship, they go back to having sex and just ejaculating as normally. And in the semen retention approach, often it's not an issue over whether or not you're masturbating or having sex, it's simply, are you retaining your semen? Personally, my journey was not necessarily the no-fap path. It wasn't even necessarily about semen retention in the beginning. So I was studying Taoist sexual practices. I've always been interested in yoga, meditation, Qigong, kind of ancient Eastern philosophy, right? And I was reading a book by Montauk Chia called The Multi-Orgasmic Man, where he talks about being able to have non-ejaculatory orgasms as a man, and that constantly ejaculating is depleting your life force. And this made a lot of sense to me, of course. And so I started this practice, again, not out of interest of wanting to retain my semen, but mostly I just wanted to have non-ejaculatory orgasms because I always felt very let down after my ejaculations. I always wanted more. So I began practicing this, and what I found was that when I would have these, because in the beginning I was just studying by myself, I was self-cultivating, I was using masturbation as a tool to gain control over my ejaculation and to experience this full body pleasure. So in the beginning, I was using these exercises, I would stimulate the energy, I would masturbate, but I wouldn't ejaculate. I would draw that energy, that orgasmic energy up through the body, and I wouldn't ejaculate in a session. And I noticed that I felt amazing after doing this. Like the rest of the day, I felt magnetic, I felt confident, I didn't feel tired, I felt energized. And naturally, this led me to go longer periods of time without ejaculating, because after 3 or 4 days of doing this, then I would ejaculate and I'd be like, okay, I have a huge drop in my energy and this doesn't even feel very good anymore. So naturally I started going longer and longer without ejaculating until I just completely lost pretty much all desire to ejaculate, and I naturally started practicing semen retention. So it wasn't like I forced myself, like a lot of people go into no-fap or semen retention very forcefully. It's very driven on suppression, right? Like, I just need to suppress my sex drive. I never took that approach. And it was a very natural unfoldment of changing my relationship to my sexuality, changing the way that I experienced, sexual pleasure and orgasm, being able to have non-ejaculatory orgasms, which naturally led me to no longer desire ejaculating. So for me, this was a very sustainable approach, because when you suppress something, you tend to make it stronger. You tend to make that force stronger because you're so focused on pushing it out of your life that it's kind of like pushing on a spring. As soon as you let go, bam, it comes back out. So you see this all the time with, people who try to be celibate and it doesn't work out for them. So in my experience, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with masturbation. The issue here is not self-pleasure. It's not masturbation. The issue is ejaculating excessively. We know that ejaculating excessively makes you fatigued. It drains your life force. It lowers your testosterone level. You become very yin, you become very passive and lazy. Whereas when you're able to go at least longer periods of time without ejaculating, you have much more energy, you have higher testosterone levels, you have better focus, better clarity, you're more magnetic and productive in your life. So these are the benefits of at least going a certain period of time without ejaculating, practicing semen retention. So why would masturbation be a problem? I think the biggest thing here is because most men aren't able to make that distinction, at least not in the beginning, obviously, of being able to masturbate and having that not end ejaculation. So obviously there's a learning curve here of being able to separate the two, because, ejaculation is very addicting to men. So many men are addicted to ejaculation. But once you're able to release that pattern, no longer be addicted to the ejaculation, be able to have these non-ejaculatory orgasms, you gain a new type of experience. in masturbating. It becomes completely different, you know? And just the word masturbating is often very kind of shameful. It's often kind of guilty, you know what I mean? So I like to call it self-cultivation, solo cultivation, because you're actually cultivating your energy. You're cultivating your sexual energy, right? You're growing it, you're nurturing it, you're balancing it and harmonizing it and using it as a tool in your life. That's very empowering. Your body needs love. Your body needs pleasure. You know, I see so many guys get into this body shame and this like self-hatred when they're doing nofap, when they're doing semen retention. And to me, it's a pattern of imbalance. It's like, oh, you know, I can't touch my dick again. You know, it's shameful, it's guilty. I can never touch that. And when you completely neglect an area of your body, you know, you're just asking for disease. You're asking for some sort of issue come here, you know? So your body needs love, your body needs pleasure. And there's often the approach of men doing this. They're like, well, okay, I just have to find a woman, you know, to give this pleasure to me. And this causes you to be very needy. It causes you to be like really projecting out into the world, like, oh, I need this person or else I cannot be fulfilled. And this also sets you up to like sort of place your entire world, place your entire center in someone else. So you finally get into a relationship, but then eventually you break up and now your whole world's gone because you placed your center in this person. When you practice self-cultivation, when you're able to, you know, masturbate and not ejaculate, you learn the tools of being able to tap into the pleasure and the self-love that you truly need. And it's very empowering because now you're no longer reliant on external people. So instead of coming into a relationship out of a sense of neediness, you know, out of this emptiness, oh, I need this other person because I have these needs that, you know, I can't meet myself. Instead of coming from that approach, you come into the relationship out of this space of I'm overflowing with energy. I have all this self-love. I take care of myself. I love my body. I nourish my body. And now I want to share this with someone else. So it's a completely different vibe. It's a completely different sense of connection with someone else, and you're going to attract a much more aligned partner in this way. The body needs orgasm. Orgasm is so healing. Orgasm is literally the process of the body. Every single cell in the body is constantly having sex. It's constantly copulating. You know, I did an interview with Michael Wynn recently, and he was saying how the whole body is in a state of sex 24/7. And when the body stops having sex, when the body stops orgasming, we call that death, right? The cells stop reproducing. So having orgasms is a way to resonate with this pattern. Orgasms are very, very healing. Having orgasms literally changes the way that your cells replicate. So it's very, very nourishing. So if you're not in a relationship, then you should be giving yourself self-love, you know, because this orgasmic energy is so important. And then there's the subject of sexual reflexology, which, you know, masturbating or having sex, whatever, is basically a reflexology massage of your penis. So the penis for a man is basically a microcosm of the entire body. There's these reflexology points on the penis that align to different areas of the body, different organs. So by massaging the penis, you're actually bringing energy into these areas of the body. It's very healing. But again, when you ejaculate, you lose the charge of energy, so it actually diminishes your health. But if you're doing this sexual reflexology massage, building up this energy, bringing it to your body, and you don't ejaculate that charge out, then you have radiant health and radiant energy. And also, this self-cultivation becomes a way to gain a deeper relationship with your body, a deeper relationship of your sexual energy and how it can be moved throughout your body. If you want to become a multi-orgasmic man, if you want to learn to last for hours in bed, have multiple orgasms without ejaculating, you know, be a masterful lover, basically, you have to practice by yourself. You know, you can't expect to just jump into bed with a partner and be a great lover. You know, it's like being an athlete. You have to train. You have to train yourself by yourself first. Get to know how your arousal responds in your body, how you can control it in different ways. And once you gain that skill by yourself, you go into bed with a partner and you're a master, you know? Me personally, I spent months learning this stuff, learning sexual kung fu, practicing it every day. And by the time I got into a relationship with someone, you know, because I was single for a long time, once I got into a relationship and we had sex, I had complete control of my ejaculation. You know, I was able to last for hours. I kind of astounded myself actually, but that's the value of training by yourself. And this is the key to getting into these higher energy states, is sexual energy, cultivating sexual energy. You know, when your sexual energy is aroused, it's like atomic firepower. It's incredibly powerful to work with. So you can use that sexual energy, work with it every day, arouse it, amplify it, bring it into your body, storing it in the body, which is the key. Then your whole body is charged with this aroused energy, and It's incredibly energizing. It's great for your health, your creativity, your focus, your confidence. It goes through the roof. Again, when you're tapping into these orgasmic states every day, you know, whether it's by yourself or with a partner, you become more magnetic because the sexual energy is so magnetic. A man who's having more orgasms and not ejaculating is incredibly radiant, incredibly attractive, much more attractive than a man who's kind of miserable because he's horny, but he's just suppressing that energy. He's not doing anything with it. You know, that man has more of an energy of neediness and like reaching out to the world around him. So, you know, what energy do you want to be in? It's really up to you. And some men actually have issues from doing semen retention and just completely neglecting their body, you know, because this energy becomes stagnant in the genitals. When it's not going anywhere, when you're not massaging this area of your body to keep things moving, then it's really a use it or lose it situation. The function of the glands, you know, the testicles, actually starts to decline if they're not being used for long periods of time. I've had guys reach out to me because they were doing semen retention for long periods of time, but it was kind of the more celibate approach. You know, they weren't meditating, they definitely weren't, you know, touching their body, massaging, getting energy flowing, and they found that their energy was declining. They were feeling very weak. They felt like their hormones were lowering, physical weakness. This is what happens when you suppress your sexual energy and when you neglect this area of your body. Your genitals are the root of your vitality. They're the first, you know, there's the lowest endocrine glands, right? The testicles. And when these are not functioning, when you're not using them, you know, you're massaging them, shaking them, doing the sexual kung fu exercises to stimulate that energy, then they start to atrophy. The glands are responsible for your health and your hormonal balance. So again, use it or lose it. So just to sum things up, I do not think masturbation is a harmful thing if you're doing semen retention. I think it's a highly beneficial thing, but obviously you need to do it right. If you're not able to move the energy out of your genitals when you're self-pleasuring, then it becomes stagnant and you'll get blue balls, right? So it's important to learn the sexual kung fu techniques to draw this sexual energy throughout the body. Then it charges up your whole body. You can have full body orgasms and do this as much as you want, because you never have the refractory period that you have after ejaculating, and your energy is through the roof. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to learn the full system of sexual kung fu, how to cultivate your sexual energy, how to move it throughout the body, open up the body to handle this high sexual charge and have full body orgasms, check out my 6-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man. I'll put more information in the description below. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Do you think masturbation is beneficial or harmful in semen retention? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have a great day, my friends.